Welcome to Getting Down to Business. I'm Jill Brown, Academic and Career Advisor with the Moomin College of Business.
And I'm Ashley Curtis. We're so excited to bring you another episode of Getting Down to Business, where we focus on internships, leadership, and career conversations.
And today we have two officers with St. Pete's Investment Club, and they're going to give us their best 30-second pitch, a little bit about who they are, so our listeners get to know them.
Yes, definitely. So I'll start. My name is Sho Ishizuka, and I'm a senior at USF majoring in finance with a concentration in investment analysis. And I started with the investment club about a year and a half ago. So started 2022. And it's been a great experience, obviously. I'm sure we'll talk more about this later, but it's a great way for students to get into the club before maybe getting an internship, and which will eventually give you real world experience in school and then lead to an internship and hopefully a full-time job. So offers a lot of opportunities to students. Very excited to be here.
Thank you. We're definitely going to dive deeper into that. So,
my name's Allison Whiteman. I'm a senior here at USFSP as well as Sho. And I'm majoring in finance with a concentration in corporate finance, as well as, trying to get a minor in entrepreneurial studies. So, that's a little bit about me. I am VP of the investment club. I actually joined in February, so pretty frequently. It's a little bit about me.
Great.
All right. So now that you've given us your introductions, we have a quick question for each of you. We just want our audience to get to know you both a little bit more personally. So this question will be for both of you. If you were stuck on an island and could only bring two survival tools, what would they be and why?
Oh,
that is a curveball to start the podcast.
Okay, I can kick it off.
Please, I need time to think.
Okay, so my thought process is something to flag for help, but something to help me survive while I'm on the island. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go with something sharp for on the island. Probably like maybe something for like fishing, like a spear.
Okay,
I feel like that could be good for food, right? And then I actually learned this in my business skills class. Shout out to Jeff Morris. I would do a mirror because you can reflect sunlight and like flag down if there's any planes or like helicopters. So I would do a mirror, and I think you can use for fire. Exactly. Yes. You can use the reflection to kind of heat up something for fire. So, I mean, I don't know if I have the background knowledge to actually do any of those things, but that would be my best answer.
Are you ready now to give your final two?
I was actually going to say the same thing. Again, shout out to Jeff Morris. I took his GEB class as well, and the mirror, I did not even think of it till taking that class. So mirror, definitely to kind of call for help. A knife would probably be best for me, just so that, I can go hunting and catch dinner.
I can't wait for Jeff to listen to this episode and free publicity for his GEB 3033 workplace skills class. It's not only how to survive in the world of business, but also if you're deserted on an island.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Applies
Got
everywhere.
Literally, as we asked that, I was like, the Lost at Sea activity really prepares you. So the Coast Guard would definitely agree with you. Those are good choices. Awesome.
All right. Well, let's get down to business now and talk about the investment club. Really, like, who or why should students join?
Definitely. So I could start off with that. So now the investment club is actually the largest student organization in the southeast of the U.S. by number of members.
Wow.
So we've grown to a large size, and I think the main reason is the culture. In the investment club, people are sometimes intimidated by finance in the world of business, but we try to simplify a lot of the things that we bring back from our internships or some alumni. We have a huge alumni network as well who work in finance, not just in Florida, but across the U.S. And so they bring back, they're always very active with the club, even after going into a full-time role. So I think the network's big, culture, no one tries to brag about their knowledge. It's more about teaching it to someone else and passing it down to other students. Yeah. And so, you have the technical side, which, it has a lot of details in how to make a financial model. But then you also have that qualitative side of how to prepare for interviews, behavioral questions, and what the recruitment process is like. So just so many things, but I think before an internship, this is like an internship in school to prepare you for an actual job in the real world. So definitely a great stepping stone.
I also wanted to add to that, I kind of jumped into finance head first. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So Investment Club gave me a real way to test out different sectors of finance that I otherwise would have no idea kind of what it's all about, you know?
It's pretty broad.
Yeah, so it gave me a direction, and it also gave me a game plan through talking to other students and alumni and also professionals that the Investment Club has connections with. Being one of the largest organizations in Southeast, it allows you to have connections with certain businesses just from alumni going into those networks. So definitely kind of helps you, kind of guides you in a career path that you may be interested in that you had no idea before. So it's good to get your start in Investment Club, I would say. Yeah.
I love it.
I like the idea. Well, was I
No, go
okay.
for it.
The game plan, because every student has their academic plan. They know exactly what courses, or sometimes there's some flexibility, but you have this course list. But when you join a club or student organization, this gives your career a game plan. I like that idea.
Exactly. And even if that
Some structure.
Yes. And even if that game plan changes, mine changed every semester. It's testing out what you like and what you don't like. And if you can do that before getting an internship, even better, you're ahead of the game. So, that's kind of how I saw it.
And I think, to reiterate, organizations help add to your portfolio, right? So if we're talking about like trying to identify, you've never had work experience, or maybe your work experience is, in the hospitality industry, and you're trying to bridge the gap and think of what are those transferable skills, an organization is a great way to be able to showcase and add that to your portfolio.
Yes, I agree 100%. I agree. Yep.
So next question for you all. Sounds like USF Investment Club is pretty big. So who can actually join?
Well, honestly, any USF student can join. You don't even have to be majoring in finance. We don't discriminate based on major. So if you have an interest in finance and you feel like you want to learn more about potential finance careers, you can join. Now, I'm not saying we let everybody who applies or fills out the general interest form in. There's still a recruiting process, but based on the individual teams that you're interested in, that recruiting process varies. Say you want to go into executive office, where we even have a marketing sector. You're still getting a financial industry experience, but it's not investment based. Maybe it's marketing for the financial industries. So it varies based on kind of what you want to do and kind of the path you think you may want to go on.
To add to Allison's point, I think, she mentioned executive office. So we have a marketing team where they market out all the materials for the club, for events. And then they also have like alumni team where they manage relationships. But then you also have the asset management division, which is more in-depth analysis, financial analysis on publicly traded companies, how to read an annual report, things like that, and summarize it, and then kind of explain it to the associates and the board. And then you also have like the research team. They publish a research report every 2 weeks. It's usually up on LinkedIn, and it's, I think, 12 pages now, but they go very in-depth, especially in the economics section. It's pretty impressive now. But just so many different areas of finance that we try to accommodate for that. We have a new wealth management team as well. So very, diversified in terms of within finance.
Okay.
And so I think, everyone's welcome. Again, no restriction by major. Actually, my first mentor in the investment club was an engineering major, mechanical engineering, and had a really good relationship with him because he mentored me and I worked hard and tried to learn everything. And then that eventually led to my internship as well at the firm he works in full time now. So
that leads to the question I was going to ask. Any student can join if they have an interest. Yep. And then the expectations, because a lot of times students want to know, okay, how much time would I be spending or what might I do? Mm-hmm. And then you mentioned mentor. So does every student receive a mentor then that joins the club?
So mentor, I would say yes. We don't call them like a mentor, but not official, but unofficially they definitely are. When I started, the club was probably less than half the size, and that was only a year and a half ago. But he was very much, he was a great leader. We have a bunch of great leaders in the club, and they're people that I looked up to and still look up to till this day, because they taught me so much and they were supportive. Even over the weekend, if I had a question, then they would be happy to hop on a call. And so that conviction was something that I was very impressed by. And that's why I continued with the club for a year and a half. But I say definitely great leaders on each team. That's why great mentors, and you never know where that could lead.
Okay. Yep. I agree. I did want to add on to that. When I joined the investment club, personally, I was lacking more of the technical skills. And even today, I still don't think I'm up to par to a lot of people in investment club, which is totally fine because they have people who give you those resources to develop those skills while you're still in investment club. So if you ever feel like maybe you're behind or, again, intimidated with the financial industry and kind of going into that, investment club is a great place to start because you have resources and a judgmental free zone to learn about finance and figure out kind of what you want to do. So, yeah.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you. Can you both elaborate a little bit more on what types of either internship opportunities or professional development opportunities that the organization offers its members?
I guess I can start us off and you can add. So something that we are working on specifically in the USF St. Pete campus, kind of mimicking what Tampa does. So there's guest speaker events, which you come and that's more of a learning opportunity. So guest speakers who are already in the financial industry, kind of have been in the professional setting for a while, can give you advice, tell you their story, how they kind of landed their first internship, their first big role. So very much inspirational to see these people speak and a learning opportunity. Now, more so on the Tampa campus, there are more networking opportunities and recruiting events. So when you go and you want to hand these people your resume and make a good first impression and follow up with an email and do things like that to potentially land an internship or even a full-time job. There's also things like internship panels that we're going to host soon on the St. Pete campus where students are talking to students who have had internships, some even alumni who have had full-time jobs can speak to students and give them advice, tips, allow them to ask them questions. So there's a plethora of different types of events. St. Pete, we are definitely trying to expand on networking and internship panels. Right now we're really diving headfirst though with guest speakers. So yeah, that's just a little bit show. I don't know if you want to add anything. But.
Definitely. So in Tampa, they do events usually every Monday evening.
Oh, wow.
And
yeah,
this week they had a recruiting 101 event. So basically, what are bulge bracket investment banks, for example? What are boutiques? Things like that. Understanding what the different sectors in finance you could go into. So more recruiting help, maybe resume workshops. Last week they hosted a recruiting event for Cross Street, which is a healthcare-focused investment bank based in Tampa. So, and I believe 3 or 4 USF alums work there full-time now. So, again, great opportunity for students to come and potentially not just listen to them speak, but also after the event, they usually have a few tables set up where they can maybe hand them their resume or talk to them directly. So in terms of recruiting events, we host that a lot. And like Allison mentioned, for St. Pete, we just had our general body meeting last week, which was a great turnout. And then we're planning, so we had the dates locked down for our internship panel events. It's going to be in 2 series. And then we also am trying to lock down a date for guest speakers from Raymond James. So a lot of exciting stuff going on. I would just add that for recruiting events as well, or whether it's recruiting 101 or just guest speakers, I think all those really ticks and ties together in the end. And it's really helpful to take that holistic approach as well to say, hey, maybe my resume needs a little work to get me to an interview, because that's the main purpose of a resume. But then also once you get to an interview, how do you talk to them and how do you build a rapport? So I think all these events are great resources, and obviously our focus would be to expand that, and we have been expanding at a fast pace in the St. Pete campus.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to use that because I think it's great that you guys are providing that resource. I just also want to add as a plug for students, this is where it's important to meet with a career counselor and an internship counselor so that you can get a better understanding of, meeting with someone to go through the mock interview process or the developing your resume to actually land the interview, right? So all of those are good things.
I would just like to jump in really quick. How I landed my internship was after meeting with a career counselor because I was like, I don't know what I want to do. And, I met with them and they suggested, I told them I have an interest in finance just for my coursework, right? Very basic coursework. And they're like, well, go to a networking event, see if you even like it. Now, I went to the networking event with my resume, basically background checks on everybody there, and it turned into an internship. So I think I really want to reiterate that it is important to meet with someone if you're feeling stressed or you don't know what you want to do. Career counselors on this campus are amazing and great resources. So, yeah.
Which I think is important, right? So that I want to also hone in on the coming to a networking event prepared, right? By doing that, I think sometimes, and I also want to say, regardless of what year in school you are, there's benefits of if it's your first year, even if you're not looking for a job. We met with a recruiter a few weeks ago who shared the more you can get your face in front of us, by the time you are actually looking for a job, that's where we know you. We recognize your face. You're not just a name in an application process, but actually doing your homework on who's attending these events. And so I think, you did an excellent job of going into that event really prepared, and it paid off, right?
Yeah.
You have to start somewhere too. So it's okay to go in, realize, I need to be prepared. And then you have another opportunity with a club to continue to hone those skills as you
Exactly.
mentioned. So.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, this just goes to the next, but you both mentioned a little bit about yourselves in the beginning. Why did you join the investment club? What brought you there? And then part 2 of this is what prompted you to then run for a leadership role?
I guess we'll just start on kind of first what got us in the club and then elaborate how we got to a leadership position. So like I mentioned previously, just changed my major to finance. I was really liking Principles of Finance, one of the most basic finance classes you take, right? So I went to this networking event and I was like, okay, that was some great opportunities, but I need to hone down on the technical and just learn more in general. So I knew Sho. I knew he was super involved with the investment club. So I reached out to him personally and was like, hey, Sho, I really want to get involved. I don't know what your recruiting process looks like, but how can I get in, And he gave me the resources. He interviewed me, and then I became a junior analyst. And ever since then, I've been kind of riding it out with the investment club, learning as much as possible. Being on the board has allowed me the opportunity to see what different teams do. I was kind of only exposed to being a junior analyst at that time. So, that's kind of how I got started with the investment club, just pure curiosity and wanted to experience. So, yeah.
Yeah, and for me, Allison's been doing a great job. So again, it was, I think, February of this year. So when she officially got in, and we were taking the same class, and we knew each other from freshman year playing soccer, or they call it football, right? We really pride ourselves on culture as well. And I think for me, when I got in, I also didn't really know too much about finance. It was my second semester, and I barely knew how to read the 3 financial statements. And they interviewed me on that. They said, we'll test you on this, so be prepared. And I read up on it, learned as much as I could, but in a few days, you can't really learn too much about the financial statements. But I gave it my best, and I was even surprised that I got in, but they gave me the chance, and I think everyone can relate to it because now the finance industry is so competitive. People have to start thinking about these career choices freshman year, and I think for the investment club, many people started by not knowing too much, and people gave them the opportunity. So for me, I'm trying to give back in that way as well. But after that, to answer your second part, so I was involved with the portfolio team first as an analyst, and after the first semester, all of our meetings are through Teams, but these in-person events were in Tampa, all in Tampa, and I just brought up the idea. I was like, hey, I would love to bring it to St. Pete. even though it's just been a semester, like give me a chance and maybe we can expand it to this campus. I would love to do that, help out students. And obviously this is a long game as well. You can't just create a club and hope it succeeds, but we've been working really hard and just taking that leadership role and becoming president of the St. Pete branch of the investment club. That was more of a taking the initiative and having that passion, not just for the club, but also to give more opportunities to students in St. Pete as well. So that was kind of my rationale behind it. And again, Allison reached out in February, and now we've been working very closely. We have the research team, industrial sector within the research team, which is St. Pete based, and then the portfolio monitoring team, which is St. Pete based as well. And we're starting to host events. So that it's more of a passion, I think, than I want to be president. It was just, let me try to help many people as I can, because someone gave me a chance initially and I've been able to come to this place.
Yeah, I think it's nice. I mean, St. Pete students within this area do need this opportunity, and they're probably very similar, where sometimes you're a little anxious or nervous about reaching out. You don't know and you don't want to admit you don't know, but creating this culture that you've mentioned that's just open, welcoming, and wanting to give back, help students grow. It is needed here, even if you can share events and students can go here or there, but having an opportunity right local is really nice. So appreciate that.
And I just want to add, I think, trying things that you don't necessarily anticipate, right? You might find that you're really passionate about, and then, through your passion, I think what I have found throughout my career is the things that you are most passionate about are the areas where you thrive and you excel, right? Which is how you've both gotten to your positions. And so I think following that is important for students as you're looking to think about, like, how do I succeed?
Yeah, so I think both of us kind of coming up into leadership positions in a very different way as people who are in the club in Tampa would come, kind of starting at the bottom, working your way up, because Sho did take the initiative to bring this club into St. Pete, a smaller school that, yes, we have less of a business crowd, but it's still needed. Just because it's a smaller crowd doesn't mean our students aren't up to par or can't perform as well as students who are in Tampa as well. So first of all, him taking the initiative gave me the opportunity to become VP of St. Pete branch. And I have the same passion for bringing, equal resources to a smaller campus, especially because I'm a business student here. And the reason I came to USF St. Pete is because I love St. Petersburg. I love the campus, and I love that it's on the water. I'm not a bio student, but I love being on the water. You know what I mean? So I think the passion just for bringing those resources to students who are like myself. When I meet someone who as a sophomore or junior, and they're like, hey, I'm in finance, I don't know what I want to do, I need help. I am 110% ecstatic to talk to a person like that, because it reminds me of myself. Not in a selfish way, but in a way of, I want to help you because I know what that feeling is like, feeling kind of lost, and still having an interest, but not knowing where to start, and still wanting a career in this path, but you don't know everything yet, and a whole jumble of emotions. Passion is the number one driver for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that. This kind of leads into our next question for you, but can you share with us both the skills that you feel you've learned personally in your roles, and then just generally, what skills do you think students will gain by being in the investment club?
So to touch on your second question first, what students will gain most? Technical skills, of course, through certain things like Excel shortcuts that are used all the time in the financial industry that I know I'm still not up to par, but you got to start somewhere, and the investment club will really expedite that learning process for you. Another technical skill, financial modeling, something that's used a lot in the investment world. Financial statement analysis, technical skills, of course, are important. But a real emphasis I want to put on is the soft skills, the professionalism, the communication, the networking, knowing how to work in a professional setting, from talking to alumni and talking to our professional connections. So a good mix of technical and soft skills that are very much so a good baseline if you want to go into the financial industry. That's just my spiel. Sho, do you want to add anything?
No, I second that, because technical skills are important, and usually when people think of finance, it's just numbers, but I would say that's not entirely accurate. Just seeing what, working at doing internships and then talking to people in the finance industry, I think the soft skills are very underrated. People tend to focus too much on the technicals, and technicals are important. The club will offer you that, but then also we have these. Last Saturday, we were at Tampa, where these deal teams within the asset management division, they presented their companies. They worked very hard to get this presentation in place, and you'll get that presentation skill, that soft skill, how, not looking at like a slide, but how do you keep eye contact and then kind of explain it in simple terms. Don't overwhelm the audience with information. Pick out what's relevant and then present it. And basically an interview is presenting yourself and selling yourself as well. So just like you're pitching a company to the board, I think those soft skills are very important. And then of course the resumes and again, financial modeling, all that. There are so many online courses, and obviously talking to members helps a lot too. But maybe just conventions in finance, not using, well, I wouldn't say not using mouse completely, but avoiding using a mouse, just using Excel shortcuts, because you can do almost everything on a keyboard. And that's something it's hard initially, but to get used to. So those are kind of the skills that we've gained. I did forget your first part of the question, though.
Just your own personally, and so those might be some of them, right? Mm-hmm. But at the first part of the question was just, what are skills that you feel that you've gained?
Absolutely. So, working as a wealth management intern, I communicate closely with my boss, who is a financial advisor. And he said, the reason I gave you the internship wasn't about your technical skills. It wasn't about what you already knew. It was about how you approached me, the fact that you could make eye contact and speak confidently to someone who's in a position that is quite scary to speak to, frankly. They have years of experience, millions of dollars assets under management. Like, it's scary, but being well prepared and talking confidently and expressing that confidence within yourself that, I don't know everything, but technical skills can always be taught, first of all. But soft skills cannot always be taught. So I think something I've learned from the club is confidence. Mm-hmm. Confidence. That is the biggest thing I've learned from the club. And I still have my days where I'm, a little shy, a little anxious, but speaking to other people who have had those experiences and them telling you, like, it's okay, just be yourself. You don't have to know everything, but if you work hard, you will get there. So confidence is the biggest thing I think I've gained from the club.
Yeah, I agree. Confidence is big, especially, I've gotten so many rejections as well, but then you want to get to that acceptance offer letter in the end, and you want multiple, but in the end, you only need one good offer letter. And I think just if people are feeling discouraged, just having the confidence, everyone reminds you that having the confidence is so important and really will help you in the long run as well. Because if you talk to members, we've all probably gotten rejected by so-and-so firm.
Countless firms.
Yeah. And that's normal. I would argue that if you're not getting rejected, you're not challenging yourself enough. Mm-hmm. And so it's okay to, have those rejection letters sent through email or maybe not sent at all. But just that soft skill of gaining confidence, presenting yourself to the audience, and also I think determination and really not taking a break and just going full on, head on, and just keep moving forward without stopping. Just let your passion take you forward.
Yeah, really great insights. Mm-hmm. Thank you both.
Yeah, and I was just thinking all the connections the student will make within the club, and then a lot of what you're already saying, but knowing that it's kind of like a little family. Right? And
exactly.
They have your support, they have your motivation, they've got your, maybe they're helping to push you to challenge and go beyond and maybe take some risks. So I think those are a lot of cool concepts that you can't always do, and maybe, like you said, fail or be rejected and still, hey, hold your head up high and know that was just a chance, and what doors are open now because of that. We kind of already answered how this club can help prepare you. Were you going to say something?
I was actually. So as you were talking, thanks. No, as you were
interrupt myself.
It was one of the things I also thought is one of the great things about being in an organization like this. You, at the beginning of our conversation, mentioned USF alumni, right? And Jill's talking about this idea of building a family. But, often we get the question of how can I find a job, right? Mm-hmm. And really one of the best ways that you can network to find a job is through your own connections. And so having an organization that has just a large number of people where, right now you're networking with alumni, but when you graduate, you're having the opportunity to network with people who are all in the financial industry and leaning into those connections as you continue to look through work, as you're, trying to just grow professionally, maybe struggling with things, but just looking to figure out how do I succeed in this field.
Exactly. And, that brings me to the point of when you're on LinkedIn and you're job hunting and you're trying to make these connections with people, being not only a USF alumni, them being USF alumni is a good connection. Like, hey, end the message with Go Bulls. That shows them that you're attending USF, they're a USF alumni, you're already connecting in that sense. But imagine reaching out to an alumni that was an investment club and you're currently in an investment club. It's shown that people who are in an investment club place at great firms because of connections and their hard work and experience, right? So that kind of already gives you a leg up on your network, the types of people you can reach out to. That maybe, being a USF alumni may not be enough, but, we have that investment club in common. Let me bring that up in a little connection request when you leave a note, on LinkedIn. So it just offers great links to different networking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And to add to Allison's point, I think the connections can go to work career purposes, but also internally in USF as well. Knowing, we're involved with faculty members as well. We have our own advisor in St. Pete, and Tampa has their own advisor, and we talk with Dean Patterson as well. But just knowing people at USF as well is very helpful. Maybe knowing your professor before you take his or her class. And also, I say, this alumni network, again, like you said, it's a tight-knit family, and they are great mentors. And so that way, for me, before I took my first finance classes, I knew like 70% of the material. I didn't slack off, but still, it's in that way it can help you too, because most of the course material and how to do it before you take that class. And so, again, tight-knit family, and these people work so long and hard, right? And still, they spend hours trying to help students in the investment club, and they're in full-time roles. They don't have to do this, but they're doing it out of their own will. So I think that just comes to show their passion. And so just having that network through the club, both internally in USF with the faculty as well as outside, I think is very important.
And you bring up a good point, because a lot of students struggle to make connections with faculty, or they're anxious or nervous to go speak with a faculty member, right? And knowing that you now have something in common to talk about, or at least you have some confidence to go ask your question. I mean, our faculty are fantastic. They're experts. They've run companies. They've had their own businesses. So they have this hands-on expertise to add as well, and now grow with the investment club.
Yeah.
I think we've covered quite a bit today. You have any final?
I don't. We just want to thank everyone for tuning in to another episode of Getting Down to Business. Special shout out to our partners at Innovative Ed who have made this possible. Jill?
No. Oh, tune in. Yes. Catch us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple, and join the investment club to expand your horizons.
Yep. Before we go, I want to give a little selfless promo. Go join us on Bulls Connect. That's where all our events are posted. Follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn. We'll post reports, update you on events, give you great networking opportunities. We even have a group chat where you can learn about internships. We have a general body group chat where we tell you again about events. So check out our resources, and thank you guys so much for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you for being here. It's
I have
been
a quick
so much
final
fun.
thought
Yeah,
as well,
sure.
if that's okay. So I would say for placement rates, it just came up in my head, but we have a 75% placement rate as well. Again, so that's a high number. our organization tries to tailor it to whichever sector you're going into finance. So again, use us as a stepping stone to propel you into that internship and full-time career. Again, we're here as like a catalyst to help you kind of grow. So that's really the main objective of the club. And just don't be intimidated. Feel free to reach out to us. And yeah, really great talking to you both. So thank you so much for hosting us.
Yeah. Well, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.